Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Vibing with Sleezy, the podcast. This is season 4, episode 10, and this is part 2 of the two-part episode I'm doing with ChatGPT. So this is Sleazy Vibes with ChatGPT part 2. If you haven't listened to part 1, you need to go back and listen to part 1. It'll give you a quick rundown of what ChatGPT is. I give it a few questions, kind of how I discovered, how I use it. In part 2, the reason I broke it down into 2 parts is I'm actually going to have ChatGPT as my actual podcast guest for this episode. So I thought it'd be a lot of fun, give it a shot, see where it goes. I really have no clue what to expect. It might be dry, it might be live. I'm kind of curious how the AI bot does it. So I've logged in. I am on ChatGPT, and I guess to give anyone listening that hasn't listened to part 1 that doesn't want to turn this off or doesn't know what ChatGPT is, it is a basically an AI bot through OpenAI where you can ask it different questions and request information, and it can help you get information on so many different things. In part 1, I asked it about different walruses, cooking recipes on how to make pasta, just a wide range of things. Go listen to part 1; you'll definitely hear about it. So, I'm logged in, and my chatbot has already named this subject of this conversation as podcast guest request. So, I wrote, I want you to be my podcast guest. It wasn't really a question, it was just a kind of a demand. And usually I'm asking it questions or beating around the bush of, hey, what is this? Or when did this happen? But I'm like, yo, I want you to be my podcast guest. So ChatGPT actually wrote back, I'd be delighted to be a guest on your podcast. As an AI language model, I can provide information and engage in conversations on a wide range of topics. Please let me know the theme or subject of your podcast, and we can proceed from there. So that's what I thought would be a lot of fun. I'm recording this episode on my laptop like usual, but I'm actually using ChatGPT through my iPhone. I'm on the website. I'm logged in through my account. So we're going to start sending a message and start with it being my podcast guest. Here we go. So I'm going to say, let's make the theme. Let's say, just for example, just so because it has so much information. Uh, let's say dinosaurs. Why not? That sounds fascinating. I'd be more happy to join your podcast as a guest to discuss dinosaurs. As an AI, I have access to a vast amount of information on dinosaurs, including their types, behaviors, evolution, and more. Whether you want to explore specific dinosaur species, their paleontological discoveries, if I said that word right, or delve into their ecological significance, I'm here to contribute to this conversation. Just let me know how you would like to structure the episode or any specific questions you'd like to discuss, and we can get started. So, not only is ChatGPT very eager to do this episode, and pretty much it's just like, just make the fucking shots, boss. They're pretty much telling me they're going to be able to provide a bunch of information to this show. So, that's really fucking cool. So, let's start off by let's just ask it. What were the most feared dinosaurs by other dinosaurs? Because we always hear about through the movies is raptors, T-Rex. Let's just see what they say. While it's challenging to determine precisely what dinosaurs were most feared by others, we can make some educated speculations based on their physical attributes, behaviors, and ecological roles. Here's a few candidates that might have instilled fear in other dinos. The T Rex. T Rex is one of the largest carnivorous dinosaurs, equipped with sharp teeth, a powerful bite, and a robust build. Its intimidating size, strength, and predatory nature likely made its formidable presence on the prehistoric landscape. The Spinosaurus. I have heard of this. That's a terrifying dinosaur. Man, think about these things being alive now. The massive dinosaur had a unique sail like structure on its back, possibly used for display or Thermoregulation. Spinosaurus is thought to have been a skilled aquatic hunter with a long snout filled with conical teeth. Its potential dominance in both land and water ecosystems could have made it a fearsome competitor. So think about this huge dinosaur with this crazy kind of like spike spine. You're almost like a T-Rex type face, kind of, but with a, I think it had a longer, skinnier snout. So it's like a skinnier snout, and this thing is like able to swim and run on land and fuck you up. Like, that's a serious fucking dinosaur. I think that thing's kind of got the T Rex with a little bit of a run for its water there, or whatever, run for its numbers. I mean, so Carnotaurus, that's another dinosaur. I've actually never heard of this dinosaur. So thanks to ChatGPT, I just learned a new dinosaur today. Uh, the Carnotaurus, known for its distinctive horns above its eyes. The Carnotaurus was a swift and agile predator. Its strong jaw and sharp teeth were adapted for slicing through flesh, making it a formidable hunter. Its appearance alone may have been enough to intimidate other dinosaurs. Another one I've never heard of. This is a new dinosaur. Again, ChatGPT blowing my mind. Oh, they're giving me a lot. I don't know. Allosaurus. The Allosaurus was a large theropod dinosaur that roamed during the late Jurassic period. It had robust build, sharp teeth, and powerful claws. With its predatory adaptations and potential pack hunting behavior, the Allosaurus likely posed a significant threat to other dinosaurs in its environment. A dinosaur that I'm telling you that I've never heard of, like I'm talking never heard of, and the reason I don't think I've heard of it is it sounds like it's something that was maybe discovered here recently, or maybe it's a certain species of raptor, but it's the Utah raptor. But it's like one word, Utah raptor. Utah raptor was a velociraptor like dinosaur, but much larger, and it had a heavier build. So a lot of raptors, are more of a skinnier build. They're in the bird family. This had a heavier build. It is believed to have been an active predator with sharp claw on its hind limbs, potentially used for grasping, oh my gosh, and disemboweling prey. So I'm talking just fucking you up. The combination of its size, agility, and pack hunting behavior could have made it a feared dinosaur. It is important to note that our understanding of dinosaurs and interactions continually evolving as new discoveries are made. The dynamics of fear and intimidation by dinosaurs are still a subject that we're researching. So, ChatGPT gave me the information that it would basically give me as anyone just asking me questions. And again, I want to apologize to everybody about my nasalness. I'm getting over sickness, but I want to keep pumping out season 4, bringing you fire content. So sorry, I'm a little nasally, but we're fighting through it over here. But anyway, so it is acting as almost like a paleontologist, as a dinosaur researcher. So it's pretty cool, the information that it's given me. So I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into this question. I'm going to say, what was some of the most feared dinosaurs underwater? Let's see what it says here. It's loading. Ooh, the Mosasaurus. The Mosasaurus was a gigantic marine reptile that lived during the late Cretaceous period. It had a long, streamlined body, a powerful tail, and flippers adapted for swimming, with its massive jaws filled with sharp teeth. It had been an apex predator in the oceans, preying on basically tons of marine creatures, even marine reptiles. Wow. Here's another one I have never heard of, thanks to ChatGPT blowing my mind again. The Liopleurodon was another large marine reptile that lived during the Jurassic period. It was also an apex predator. Huge size, 30 feet or more. So picture an NBA basketball goal that's 10 foot tall. I mean, pretty much any basketball goal that you see outside anyone's house or park or school, whatever, it's 10 foot tall. So put 3 of those on top of each other, and you have this fucking dinosaur swimming in the water at you with huge sharp teeth. Whew. Man, thanks, ChatGPT. Kronosaurus was a massive pliosaur. that lived during the early Cretaceous period. It had a large, robust body, a short neck, powerful set of jaws. It also was believed to be an apex predator, and it loved cephalopods, which is spelled Cephalopods. Um, when you look back in fossils and dinosaurs, there's a lot of different pods, like brachiopods. Those are actually something you can find in Kentucky on the side of roads, like where you see these rocks that these rows that have been maybe dynamite's blown them up or caved through, where it's like they've had to, you know, cut through some rock to get through things. A lot of times you can find those brachiopods and omniopods and all this kind of stuff. And then the last one they're saying is the pliosaurus. Now I've heard of this, and this was big time in the oceans in the Jurassic period. Long neck, small head, streamlined body, and they kind of similar like that Loch Ness monster look, which is really cool. So I'm going to start asking some more questions about dinosaurs and see how it's going with this. So tell me the best places in the United States to find fossils. And I'm going to dive deeper into this question, so just wait. It's telling me that there's tons of places, but basically, Badlands National Park, which is South Dakota, that is renowned for its fossils deposits from Lake Eoquine and Algonquin epochs. Fossils of mammals like rhinos, horses, and early primates have been found there. Dinosaur National Monument in Colorado and Utah. It's a famous place that has preserved many dinosaur fossils and has hundreds of dinosaur bones and trackways and quarry and a very extensive quarry wall. The Fluorescent Fossil Beds National Monument in Colorado. The fluorescent fossil beds is known for its exceptionally preserved fossils from the Eoquine epoch. Fossil of insect, plants, and even large mammals like bears and horses can be found there. Hell Creek Formation, which is in Montana and North Dakota. So you're kind of hearing where dinosaurs were at. Northern United States, Central United States, kind of in that what they call the heartlands of the United States. We also have, that's where you're going to find T-Rex, Triceratops, and other dinosaurs. Another one is the La Brea tar pits in California, so out west. Tar pits in Los Angeles are actually famous for their Ice Age fossils. So now these are dinosaurs that are way out west. LA is close to the Pacific Ocean, Southern California. So you can see how dinosaurs migrated and went over, and ChatGPT is pretty much showing us, like, where the main areas of the United States these dinosaurs are. The next one's John Day fossil beds in Oregon. Plants, mammals, ancient horses are found buried there. The Green River Formation in Wyoming, Colorado, Utah. That's another place where we're finding insects, plants, birds, reptiles. You have the Agate fossil beds in Nebraska. This is basically another one from the Miocene epoch. The fossils of ancient rhinos, horses, and camels have been discovered there. So that's very, very interesting to know. Just what I've learned from ChatGPT so far in this podcast episode, because I learned from all my guests. Every guest I've had on this show, I learned from. And when I do an episode solo, I learn from myself. But this is showing me and teaching me stuff that I never would have assumed. Yes, we can see rhinos in any United States zoo. And yes, we got to protect rhinos. They are going extinct, and we might not be able to always see them in the zoos. But to know that different rhinos and ancient rhinoceros species roam North America is fucking awesome to learn. And that's super cool. And we need to, they're endangered animals, the rhinoceros, so we must protect them now in our present day. And but to know that they were roaming wild and free and probably in huge populations back in these prehistoric times around places where we're living now, it's cool. Now I know, there was a shift and the continents and everything moved and all of that and Pangea and the whole shebang, but it's still cool to think that rhinoceros fossils can be found in North America. I mean, damn, it's just that's one thing cool. And then just learn about ancient horses and ancient camels roaming North America. That's cool as well too. I mean, but again, mainly out west, mainly out central. So this is where I'm going to dive into it to see if I can get a little bit more specific with locations. So I'm going to actually ask it, what dinosaur fossils can be found in the state of Kentucky, where I'm recording out of Louisville, Kentucky here. While Kentucky's not a huge fossil state, they give you a good paragraph about basically saying, like a lot of states, a lot of our organisms are what I said, brachiopods, corals. We had a lot of marine organisms. We had a lot of water, but Mammoth Cave's a good place to find things. Something that people have not realized they found in Mammoth Cave is saber tooth tiger like tusk and saber tooth cat bones. Big Bone Lick State Park, located in northern Kentucky, it's basically has large mammal fossils, mastodons, mammoths, so woolly mammoths. So to think, Kentucky had a lot of ice age, woolly mammoths, big animals, saber-toothed tigers. And then we also had a lot of water. And so we had a lot of coral and brachiopods, so a lot of ice and snow. So it's just crazy how climate, weather, and the world, just how everything's changed now. But that's what was going on in Kentucky. Now, the last paragraph it actually puts here about it is, it's important to note that dinosaur fossils are relatively rare in Kentucky compared to regions with more extensive dinosaur bearing rock formations. Nonetheless, the state's geological history offers other intriguing fossils that help pieces together the story of ancient life in the area. So, again, so much information that you can't just find on Google, and ChatGPT is giving me this in 5 seconds. I mean, this is fucking incredible. So let's just keep diving a little bit more. Were there were there dinosaurs in Louisville, Kentucky, in the prehistoric days? Territorial Louisville, for the people listening. Because I'm now asking it, and this question was a little tough for them, but you know what? It actually is pumping me out some great information. So, yes, so basically, what my question is asking, if there was dinosaurs in Louisville, in the area where Louisville is now, in the prehistoric times. And yes, we were known as the Mesozoic area. Excuse me, Mesozoic era. These big words always kill me. But the area that is now Louisville, Kentucky, was not inhabited by dinosaurs. The geological formations in the region are not known to contain significant dinosaur fossil deposits. Instead, the fossil record in Kentucky is from the Paleozoic era. So we didn't really even have dinosaurs during our time of the Mesozoic era. And basically, it's saying, because we were merged under shallow sea, and a lot of that sediment occurred and things moved on, and we did have a lot of invertebrates and corals. So that could be some stuff you could find in Louisville. But yeah, dinosaurs were not big in Louisville. So again, that's just cool information that it can break down to the most certain things. So I'm going to ask it, what is the closest thing to a dinosaur we have today? Now, some people listening might be like, oh, it's a bird, it's a chicken. Well, let's just see what it says. Excuse me. Wow. It is a bird. So, yes, I was right about that. I know a lot of people are probably like, well, yeah, it's a bird. But theropods were two-legged dinosaurs. They were the modern bird basically have evolved from, was two-legged dinosaurs named theropods. Um, they also included famous dinosaurs like T-Rex and Velociraptor. So these huge dinosaurs and these smaller ones all kind of have evolved birds, and they all have the same characteristics of their dinosaur ancestors, such as feathers, beaks, lightweight skeletons, and hollow bones. They also exhibit certain dinosaur like behaviors, including nesting, brooding, and even some aspects of dinosaur courtship displays. Um, the scientific consensus supports the theory that birds are direct descendants of dinosaurs. Fossil evidence, agronomical similarities, and genetic studies all contribute to this understanding. By studying birds and their evolutionary history, scientists gain a valuable insight into biology, behavior, and appearance of dinosaur ancestors. So, birds are so important for dinosaur history and to learn. Excuse me again for coughing. Like I said, I'm fighting through this, but um, basically, with these dinosaurs, um, a lot of stuff we're learning is from birds. So therefore, when considering the closest thing living to a dinosaur, modern birds are a clear answer. They represent a remarkable legacy and ongoing presence of the dinosaur lineage in our world today. So it makes me think, with dinosaurs, being around and then birds evolving from it. We eat birds now today, so we probably would have ate dinosaurs. Birds are flying around. Dinosaurs flew. They had feathers. They had beaks. We are terrified of some dinosaurs. Some birds. Some birds like to eat the dead. I mean, so a lot of stuff that are similar to the dinosaur with the bird of all, it's like nothing's really changed besides just kind of the species and the type. Now, yeah, there was some huge probably dinosaur birds that chase us humans around and fuck us up and murder us, but and probably huge in size, but it's just, yeah, it's wild, the whole evolution and the where birds have came from. And when you go to like places like the zoo and different places, you see that emu and it turns its head, and it, and you look at the eyes, you look at birds, the way they turn their head and stuff, it's almost rapture like in the movies. So you definitely see those dinosaur characteristics. A question that I want to ask it, that I'm curious about, um, were dinosaurs huge compared to humans today? That's just something I always wondered. Yes, of course, I know huge dinosaurs like brontosaurus, and we look at giraffes today that are huger, bigger than us, that are mammals. But I just want to know, like, were they all that big? Big? Yeah, there was tiny ones, but man, dinosaurs were much larger than humans. They had range larges in size, over 100 feet, multiple stories. And then you had the ones that were small bird like ones that were almost the size of a chicken. But these enormous ones would stand 20 feet tall. Some even reached up to 40 foot tall, weighing 8 tons. A ton is 2,000 pounds. That's 16,000 pounds as a fucking dinosaur. And some of those big motherfuckers only ate leaves. Herbivores are wild back then. And for people listening, a herbivore is a plant eater. Carnivore eats meat. Omnivore eats both. We're omnivores. Well, most of us are. Some are vegetarians, but I'm an omnivore. Um, but yeah, some of these herbivores that only eat plants like giraffes. Yes, I know their height. You have to the weight, the mass. It has to all fill in. But these dinosaurs eating plant diets were weighing 16,000 pounds. Just process that. Woo! So, anyways, and then you had a dinosaur. Actually, whoa! Now I'm now even shocking myself. You had an Argentinosaurus, which I have never learned about, and a Brachiosaurus, which I knew that name. They can exceed 100 feet in length. That's 10 NBA basketball goals. 10 NBA basketball goals. Weighing 50 tons. That's 100,000 pounds. That's insane. There's 100,000 pound dinosaur roaming the earth. I can't even think of an animal. I mean, elephants are huge. I can't think of 100,000 pound dinosaur just roaming the earth, looking outside, seeing this big motherfucker just sitting there. I mean, how would you even move that thing? How would you even hunt the thing or get around that thing? Oh my gosh, being 100 foot long. Dinosaur times were wild. ChatGPT blowing my mind again. I mean, it's just it's insane. So this is just the stuff you can do. I mean, I can pretty much ask ChatGPT 1,000 questions like I would ask any podcast guest, and it's just going to keep delivering me answers where you have some human podcast guests, sometimes they go blank or sometimes they don't know. I mean, things happen. It's human nature. I mean, should I go blank sometimes? I fuck up. I have errors. But the thing about it is, it's like for something just to be able to give you such quick answers and give you info and just to keep you engaged, and then you're just like, oh, I want to ask it this, I want to ask it that. It's like it's really cool to know because you know that it has the answer. Let's ask it a couple more questions about dinosaurs, and I want to kind of see, a little bit more farther of where I can go with it, and then we'll wrap it up. But I just, it's been a lot of fun experimenting with this, and this is really really cool. So I want to ask it, um, were uh, let's see, how big were saber-toothed tiger tusks? 7 to 8 inches in some individuals, which they're giving me tons and tons of information. And they played a crucial role in hunting strategy. I mean, they could bring down large prey, basically immobilize the animal. And let's ask another question. Let's ask, what are tusks made of? Made in and cover a layer of enamel. So they're a bone, but it's like a hard calcified tissue that forms the bulk of the task. Now, it's given me tons and tons of information. And, some animals that have tusks are walruses, narwhals, wild boars, tusks, elongated with canine teeth are what these animals have. And the dented enamel gives the tusk their characteristics, their hardness, and their strength. So it's similar to like a tooth, but it's like a bone. And wow. I mean, just pretty much talking about how tusks have really helped these animals in the adaptations and ecological roles. Um, let's see. Let's ask it the question that everybody wants to always ask, especially after the Jurassic Park movies have been out. Will dinosaurs ever come back? Here we go. The big question. Will dinosaurs ever come back? As my knowledge cut off in September 2021, dinosaurs have been extinct for millions of years and have not returned. So basically, it's telling me that I feel like ChatGPT is leaving the question open. I mean, it's giving me tons of information, but that, hey, after 2021, 2021, we might have a chance. So it's basically giving me this answer. As my knowledge cut off in September 2021, dinosaurs have been extinct for millions of years and have not returned. The last non avian dinosaurs went extinct 65.5 million years ago at the end of the Cretaceous period. While scientists have made tremendous strides in our understanding of dinosaurs through fossil evidence and research, there is currently no scientific possibility or known mechanism for bringing dinosaurs back to life. The process of de-extinctions, while involves reviving extinct species, is a topic of scientific discussion and exploration. However, it's important to note that de-extincting dinosaurs remains purely speculative and currently falls outside the realm of scientifically reality. That being said, modern birds are considered the living descendants of dinosaurs. They evolved from a group of small carnivorous theropod dinosaurs, and thus, in sense, dinosaurs are still with us today in the form of birds. So, studying birds and their evolutionary connections to dinosaurs provides valuable insights into the characteristics, behaviors of their ancient relatives. So, again, it just pretty much proves birds are what are our dinosaurs today, and we're probably not going to ever have dinosaurs again. Now, science could keep evolving. ChatGPT's kind of leaving the book open that it could happen after 2021. I mean, it is 2023; they're not here yet, but fuck it, I had to ask that question. It's a fun question. It's something I think everybody thinks about at least once in their life and have wondered. And dinosaurs are just cool. So I'm going to wrap this part 2 episode up. I want to thank everybody for listening to part 1 and part 2. This was a fun experiment, something fun to do with ChatGPT. It was just something quick, and I just thought, man, this is something cool. I don't think a lot of people have done this, and I thought this would get a lot of listeners and people tuning in, and thought I'd teach some people something. So I'm going to thank ChatGPT for being my podcast guest. Thanks for being my podcast guest today. Let's see what it says. You're welcome. It was a pleasure being your podcast guest. I'm glad I could contribute to your show. If you have any more questions or need assistance in the future, feel free to reach out. Good luck with your podcast, and thank you again for having me as a guest. So not only is ChatGPT knowledgeable and cool, really fucking polite. So shout out ChatGPT, OpenAI. So I want to thank everybody for listening, tuning, and downloading. This has been a fun episode 9 and 10, part 1, part 2. If you haven't listened to part 1, go back and listen. It's on all platforms. I want to also welcome India to the Vibing with Sleezy, the podcast family. They're now tuning in and listening. So shout out to India, one of the biggest countries in the world. And the country list keeps growing. The listeners tuning in, download keeps growing. So thank you all again. But everybody reach out, BibleSleazy.com, BibleSleazy@gmail.com, BibleSleazy, the podcast, Facebook, Instagram. Show love, reach out. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening. Season 4 has been a blast. Got more episodes coming. Thank you all. Peace.